The morning sun cast long shadows across my new property as I stood at the entrance, admiring the custom-built gate that now marked the boundary of my 50-acre sanctuary. The ironwork was beautiful, sturdy, elegant, and most importantly, locked. Beyond it stretched rolling fields, dense woods, and a freshly renovated barn that I'd spent the last 3 months transforming into my dream workshop. I'd purchased this land specifically because it sat outside the Meadowbrook HOA boundaries. After 5 years of living in that suffocating neighborhood, dealing with endless rules about mailbox colors and grass height measurements, I'd finally escaped. My house in Meadowbrook was now a rental property, and I was free. The sound of tires on gravel interrupted my thoughts. A silver BMW SUV came barreling down the road, kicking up dust as it approached. My stomach sank. I recognized that vehicle. Patricia Henderson, the HOA president and the woman who'd made my last years in Meadowbrook absolutely miserable, was at the wheel. She stopped her car mere feet from my gate, threw open the door, and stormed toward me. Her perfectly coiled blonde hair didn't move an inch despite her aggressive pace, and her white pantsuit seemed far too pristine for a rural road. What is the meaning of this? Patricia demanded, gesturing dramatically at the gate. You can't just block off this road. I took a deep breath, reminding myself to stay calm. Good morning, Patricia. This is my property. The gate marks my property line. Your property? Her voice climbed an octave. This road has been used by residents for years. It's a shortcut to the highway. A shortcut across private land. I corrected, pulling out my phone to show her the surveyed documents. I had this professionally surveyed before purchase. This entire section, all 50 acres, is mine. The road you've been using cuts right through the middle of my property. Patricia's face flushed red. She snatched the phone from my hand, squinting at the screen. This is ridiculous. We have easement rights. Actually, you don't. I retrieved my phone. I had my lawyer check thoroughly. There's no recorded easement. The previous owner allowed people to use informally, but that doesn't create a legal right, especially not now that the property has changed hands. I'll have the HOA board review this, she sputtered. I couldn't help but smile. The HOA has no jurisdiction here, Patricia. This property is completely outside Meadowbrook's boundaries. I specifically made sure of that before I bought it. Her eyes widened as the realization hit her. For 5 years, she'd wielded the HOA rules like a weapon against me, fining me for parking my truck in my own driveway overnight, citing me for having a garden gnome that was too whimsical for neighborhood standards, even tried to fine me when my grass was a half-inch too tall after I'd been hospitalized for a week. Now, standing on land where she had absolutely no authority, I felt genuinely free for the first time in years. You're doing this out of spite, Patricia accused, her finger jabbing toward me. Because of the HOA. I'm doing this because I value my privacy. I replied evenly. I bought 50 acres specifically so I wouldn't have unexpected visitors. The gate stays. This adds 15 minutes to my drive to the highway. 15 minutes. Then I suggest you leave earlier. Patricia's face contorted with rage. She pulled out her own phone, frantically dialing. Harold? Harold, I need you at the entrance to the Miller property immediately. Bring the bolt cutters. I raised an eyebrow. I wouldn't recommend that, Patricia. That would be destruction of private property. I have cameras. I pointed to the security camera mounted on the gate post, its red light blinking steadily. She hung up without another word, her hand trembling. You can't do this. I'll sue you for blocking access. You're welcome to try. My lawyer would be happy to discuss the case. I crossed my arms. But I should mention, I also discovered that several Meadowbrook residents have been dumping yard waste on this property for years. That's illegal dumping. I have records, photos, and I'm considering pressing charges. Patricia's expression shifted from anger to something resembling panic. I'd struck a nerve. Last summer, I caught her directing her landscaping crew to dump trimmings on what she thought was abandoned land. It was all documented. Now, I continued, I'm willing to forget about the dumping issue. I just want to be left alone on my property. The gate stays locked. Is that clear? For a long moment, Patricia just stared at me, her jaw working as if she wanted to speak, but couldn't find the words. Finally, she spun on her heel and marched back to her BMW. Before getting in, she turned back one last time. "This isn't over," she shouted. "Actually, Patricia, it is. Have a nice day." She peeled out, her tires spitting gravel. I watched the dust cloud settle, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. Over the next few weeks, Patricia tried everything. She sent certified letters to my rental address claiming I was violating property rights. My lawyer sent replies explaining, in precise legal language, that she had no case. She showed up at the gate 3 more times, each time more desperate, once even bringing other Meadowbrook residents who'd been using the shortcut. I stood firm every time. The local sheriff visited once, responding to Patricia's complaint that I was creating a public safety hazard. Sheriff Martinez took one look at the survey documents, the deed, and the documentation of no easement rights, and turned to Patricia with barely concealed amusement. "Ma'am, this is private property. He has every right to gate it. You'll need to use the public roads like everyone else." The final showdown came 6 weeks after I'd installed the gate. Patricia arrived with a man in an expensive suit, clearly a lawyer she'd hired. They approached the gate where I was working on the fence line. "Mr. Miller," the lawyer began, "I'm Robertson, representing the Meadowbrook HOA. We'd like to discuss a compromise." "I'm listening." "We're prepared to offer you $5,000 for an easement allowing Meadowbrook residents to use this road." I considered for a moment, not because I was tempted, but because I wanted them to understand I was taking their offer seriously. Then I shook my head. "No, thank you. This is my private retreat. I didn't spend $300,000 to have traffic cutting through it daily." Patricia exploded. "You're doing this to punish us." "To punish me?" "Patricia," I said calmly, "for 5 years, you made my life miserable over the color of my mailbox, the height of my grass, and where I park my truck. You fined me constantly and made every day in that neighborhood stressful. But this isn't about revenge. This is about peace. I bought land outside your control so I could finally have some." The lawyer cleared his throat. "Perhaps we can increase the offer." "No offer will change my mind. My answer is final." They left without another word. Patricia sat in her passenger seat, staring straight ahead, her expression blank. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. 3 months later, I heard through my renters that Patricia had resigned as HOA president. The stress of the situation, combined with other residents questioning her judgment after learning she'd been using private property as a shortcut for years, had been too much.